It's Monday, February 13th, 2012. It's the 404 show on CNET. I'm Jeff Aguilar.
I'm Wilson Tang.
I'm Justin Yu.
This is the show. We're getting to the bottom of this. These shenanigans.
Shenanigans, I wouldn't call them shenanigans.
Shenanigans that's a really meaningful word. That's when you know someone's serious, when they use the word shenanigans.
What are we talking about here?
Talking
are we talking
about
about the live stream or the events over the weekend?
No,
There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
There's nothing. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened over the weekend. God, you're insensitive.
God,
what do you
man.
mean?
Such a prick.
I'm not a prick.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are. What?
What?
Next to the definition is a picture of your
You weren't
face.
this
Come on.
apathetic when Michael Jackson died.
I'm not apathetic. It's sad.
Cracking jokes.
I'm not cracking
Joke
jokes.
cracking.
You guys, it's
Guy.
not funny at all.
You know, I'm getting tired of, I finding out about all these things, especially through Twitter and push notifications. Like, it's scary to look down at your phone now. Like, you know, every time you get one of these notifications, obviously, if you don't know, Whitney Houston passed away this weekend. And that was just like it happened when we were actually about to go out for dinner and have some fun with some friends. And, you know, I'm sure it was just so depressing.
It's sad, for sure.
Yeah, just ruined the evening.
I thought we were talking
for
about
everybody.
the Grammys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Grammys were pretty sad too. What I find weird is not even, her specific death. What's crazy is like every week now there's these trends on Twitter of celebrities who are not dead.
Right.
And that's becoming a problem. That's when you know that Twitter is way too popular because all the idiots are out there now.
Yeah.
And every stupid person who's ever had any stupid ideas and how do these things
How do they
trend?
propagate, right?
How does
Last
this
week
happen?
it was Kim Jong-un got assassinated by a group of ninjas.
Ninjas,
Right?
yeah.
Remember that?
Ninjas.
It
But
was crazy.
it's always like someone, it was like Morgan Freeman, Jeff Goldblum,
Yeah.
George Lopez. All these people are alive and well.
Right.
But Twitter, for like 8 hours a day, kills a celebrity that's not really dead.
Do you remember back in 2010? I feel like there was a rumor that Whitney Houston had actually overdosed.
Well, that had
drugs.
happened
It was kind of a
several
weird
times,
foreshadowing.
Well, let's not lie to ourselves. It's not unbelievable that would happen.
Well, she's had
right?
issues for a while, but
Sure.
nobody expected her to pass away at a relatively young age of 48.
Right.
Definitely
Yeah.
young, for sure.
Uh,
It's really sad.
There is a tech angle on this, though. So obviously, after she died, people went to places like Amazon and iTunes to buy her greatest hits album, and it became #1 immediately on both of those services.
I would easily imagine.
Right, but then soon afterward, it actually jumped. The price jumped 60%.
Whoa!
On Amazon and iTunes. Yeah, it went from around $7.87 originally
So
to
that's like the price.
$12.62.
That's the price when generally things are sort of like in the bargain bin. Like
Right.
on iTunes, the bargain bin price is like about $8. Right.
Right.
So
Which is
then-
probably why. It's
Yeah.
because no one really purchased that album. I mean, everyone had the Ultimate Collection already.
And then I
But
guess
then they bought it more, I guess.
on Twitter, and the headline
Weird.
was like iTunes is trying to capitalize on the unfortunate death of Miss Houston.
Right.
But that turns out not to be sort of like iTunes, Apple's fault.
Yeah.
It was something else, right?
Guess it was Sony's issue.
Sony.
They hiked the price up. Well, Sony owns all the rights to
Okay.
Whitney Houston's catalog. And I guess when they saw the
How
album
messed up
sales
is that?
rising, they raised the cost of the wholesale price,
Isn't that
which
illegal?
raised the cost of the
Isn't that
individual
illegal?
album price.
Can't you not do that? Isn't that
You
illegal?
can do whatever the heck means you want
yeah,
if you own the rights to it.
if you own the rights to it.
I thought you could not do that under certain circumstances.
Yeah,
mean,
but like a
ethically, it's kinda messed
hurricane,
up.
like you can't suddenly the government can stop it, come in and say like, you can't raise the
Well,
prices.
this is
for
the
wood.
equivalent of a hurricane
Yeah.
in the entertainment
in
business.
the entertainment industry, but nobody's gonna
Die without
die
Whitney
because they're
Houston.
not gonna
Yeah.
listen to a Whitney Houston.
I
tune.
understand the difference, but still,
But
it's
that
not
is pretty
right.
Yeah.
effed up. Yeah.
It is
Not
more
right,
than effed
but
up.
it's okay.
It's beyond effed up.
That ain't right either. that ain't right either.
You set me up for that.
What?
Oh, Jeff's never heard a Whitney
Oh, yeah.
Houston song
What the
before.
hell are you talking
I
about?
was singing "I Will Always Love You" this morning in the pre-show, and he's like, "Why
What?
are you
Wait,
singing? What
the
song is
Bodyguard
that?
song?
Did you just make that up?"
The Bodyguard song.
Yes,
I know that song,
I was
dude.
like, "And how much I need
I'm
you to
proud.
try." And you had this like puzzled look on your face.
I don't know that part. I know the chorus. The one
God.
that's, when
The
she's like
one-
just
the one
sitting
note.
there.
The one-
he
Sitting
knows the
there.
one note. That's-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
a good
Oh,
song.
stop. You called Adele Adderley last week. The hell do
Adele,
you know about
sorry.
music?
You didn't know what Goodwill was, so that's
Oh, yeah.
an even marker
How
right
is
there.
how is that a win?
They're both in the
How is that a
canon.
loss for me? How is that a dent that I didn't know?
1%. Remember.
Yeah, don't forget.
Yeah. Are you smarter
Look
than a
who's
fifth
talking
grader?
over here. What's that?
Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
Sometimes. Occasionally.
You're supposed to be a pop culture genius.
Dude, don't you dare.
That is not the case here.
I want to dance with someone. That is my favorite Whitney Houston song.
Well,
it's not, it's not very manly of me, but I
No,
don't
it's
care
fine.
because it's a great song.
I've slid across the kitchen floor on that.
Speaking
Who
of
hasn't?
people who in Twitter that doesn't know anything, so there's this kind of meme going up. Somebody did a search for who is Paul McCartney
Okay.
during the Grammys, right?
Yeah.
And there, it returned dozens upon dozens of tweets, presumably from somebody who's probably
Under
the age of
10.
10 or 12, who was like, "Who the f is Paul McCartney?"
See, I don't blame a young person for not knowing. I blame their parents for not telling them who it is.
Yeah,
that's
a
a
good point.
parent. I mean, you're 10. I mean, I guess someone who's 10 should have heard of the Beatles.
Yeah.
You would imagine.
You would imagine. Oh my goodness, this is just. We're just scrolling through a seemingly endless list
Right.
of people asking Twitter. Who was Paul McCartney? Probably the same people who say "Rest in peace," Wayne Brady. All
Yeah.
these, like it's ridiculous. Man, it's stupid. There should be a total sort of censorship on Twitter. You should be able to. You should have to pass some sort of GED equivalent to be a user of Twitter, right?
There were a lot of people on Twitter last night when Chris Brown came out that went to Twitter and said, "Oh man, this is kind of messed up, but I'd let Chris Brown beat me." Like that was
What?
a trending thing. I saw there was a whole list of stuff on BuzzFeed about people just saying that, various iterations of that phrase.
I weep for
on
the
Twitter.
future.
Yeah,
I weep for the
I'd let him
world.
beat me.
No,
He's hot.
I weep for American youth.
I weep for our culture because
Yeah.
I absolutely refuse to have or watch or pay anything for
Yeah.
anything Chris Brown related.
It's crazy. People are like, "Call me crazy, but I would let Chris Brown beat me up any day."
See, now I feel like
That
that's
ain't
maybe
right.
a joke. Is that a
I don't
joke?
know.
Call me
I don't
crazy?
know. I'd let Chris Brown beat me up anytime. They all say the same
Yeah, but
thing.
these are all crazy women.
Right.
These are the women that make it okay.
It's very
What?
scary.
I'm serious. By saying that you are not you're throwing yourself under the bus. How could you do that to your gender? How dare you represent your gender that way?
Yeah,
It's disgusting.
Might be cheeky though. It is Twitter.
You
after
think
all.
it's fair? I mean, half the crap I say. What am I talking about? 89% of the stuff I say on Twitter.
Yeah,
If
it's like a whole
if
website
it's not
of
like-
YouTube comments.
It's not some sort of self-promotion.
Right.
It's something completely useless that could go in one ear and out
Toss
the
it
other.
away.
And then I've lost 700 followers.
It's weird because you would imagine, given all the articles and all the warnings of Twitter is public, and if you ever want a job, don't tweet anything that
Yeah,
stupid.
but you could always go back and delete stuff.
Twitter, tweets should really only last for a week. You should be able to specify an expiration date after each tweet.
Wasn't
right?
there a service we found that did that?
Yeah, I forget what it
Yeah.
was called, but it should be ingrained in the Twitter service, right? Because there's nothing you
default?
ever want to go back to and read your old tweets.
No,
like,
sometimes I'm
what did I tweet
interested
about
in that.
300 hours ago. No one.
The only reason why is for people to call you out on something you tweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. They should all be transitive.
It's only designed to backfire.
Yeah.
But nothing good can come of that.
Oh,
Of having a complete, an anthology of your tweets.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Speaking of Adele,
Yeah.
do you want to talk about your newfound love of this artist?
I've known about her. She's not like news to me. It took me a really long time to learn about Lady Gaga. That I will admit, I was way behind the curve.
Well,
on.
she was
Okay.
kind of sort of, I wouldn't say underground, but she was popular amongst a certain small crowd for a
I
while.
don't even know if you can say that.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But what I thought was really cool about Adele was that when she won, she thanked her doctor. Which,
What?
Yeah, because her
Oh,
doctor.
she just had throat surgery.
Yeah.
Right, and it wasn't anything it was just like, hey, guess what? This guy fixed me up. Thanks.
Right.
She's awesome. What a sweetheart. Really
Well,
cool
she
chick.
looks relatively normal.
Oh God,
You know,
she is painfully normal.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. It's like you
It's a shock to
you hear her
people.
music and you expect her to just, because she's so passionate, to have some sort of just very distinctive look, and she just that's almost the reason why I feel like a lot of people
Wait,
like
what do you
her.
mean, like physically normal or her?
Well, she just
Just
she
her
doesn't look
demeanor,
like
her
the,
attitude.
The person
Yeah.
next door, she just
It's
looks
great.
like
She's
approachable.
awesome.
she kind of looks like
so
Kelly
cool.
Osbourne to me. Whenever I
No,
look
that's
at her, I
because
always think
she's
Kelly
she has a
Osbourne.
British accent.
No. Physically, I don't know. She just reminds me of her.
Oh, she's much more attractive than Kelly Osbourne. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
Well, have you ever-
nothing against Kelly Osbourne?
Have you
just
ever cried to any of Adele's songs? Be
No,
honest.
but I
shed
understand that
tears?
it's like that tear note.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
there's something about that song, and they make fun of it on Saturday Night Live too. Have you ever seen that?
Someone like you, yeah.
They all start. The window washer's crying.
Yeah.
He hears it.
Like pans across.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of that, there's an article in the Wall Street Journal. This came out last Friday, but I wanted to talk about it. A British psychologist has kind of analyzed a bunch of tracks, including Adele's "Someone Like You," and he realized that a lot of those passages have a similar characteristic, and they all contain this musical device called appoggiatura. Wilson, I know you're a big classical music fan. This was popular during the
sure what a
Mozart phase.
appoggiatura is.
Appoggiatura is basically an ornamental note that clashes with the melody and creates a dissonant sound to where those conflicting tones create an emotional response in the listener.
Wow.
And so you find these types of notes in songs like "Someone Like You," also in what is that Eric Clapton song, "Tears in Heaven"?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
in
that's a
REM's
tearjerker,
"Everybody
too.
Hurts." All those kind of songs that invoke that really strong tear-jerking reaction. They all contain appoggiatura.
Don't you think that's only part of the equation, though? I mean,
I'm
the
sure she's got a
context,
beautiful
the context of the song. I mean, her beautiful voice doesn't make me cry.
Right.
But there's so much passion and
Let me-
Any kind of
genuineness to it.
crescendo.
And I want
is
to,
always
I
creates tears.
want to correct things. I don't cry from listening to Adele.
You don't cry.
I
in
can.
public.
No, I've cried. I have cried. There
Okay.
was one. No.
And he cries.
But I can understand / appreciate that emotional sort of trigger that happens. It's a really sad song. She's talking about this guy who she broke up with, and it's really sad.
Yeah.
And she's young, so you know like what young love is about. You know, it's
Yeah.
you're very emotional.
You know what does it to me is that like most of the song is really quiet, and then it crescendos, and then all of a sudden the chorus just goes up into this really loud
when she
volume.
blasts out that chorus, you can. I'm not sure there's a song where you can understand how emotionally affected the artist is in a chorus. Because when she belts that out, it's like, Jesus, am I even supposed to be watching you sing this? This is a very intimate moment that maybe you should be having with yourself.
Yeah.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Well, do you guys have songs that invokes that reaction out of you? Is there one particular song, whether associated with some situation or an ex-girlfriend or something, that makes you really just
I don't know, man. I
nothing?
mean,
Come on.
I'm thinking of like college.
Let's get real right
in the
now.
dark ages.
Yeah.
You know, when things were real black.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I don't know. I don't
lay
have a
some on me.
specific song though. It's
trying to
all
think,
like
too.
it's all like
I wouldn't-
nonsense pop punk sort of stuff.
Oh, okay.
90s music does bring me back to the moment where
all
like
Dashboard
that
Confession.
song was.
There's I got I got a song. Is it Collective Soul or Soul Asylum?
Runaway
Collective
Train.
Soul?
No, not Runaway Train.
Which one?
When he's on the edge of the building. How does it go? The World I Have Known.
Oh, that's
Ooh,
Collective
yeah.
Soul. Yeah.
Collective Soul.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I walk the fuck. That song.
Yeah.
And I step to the edge.
What about
That's a
See
sad
my
song.
world below.
That's a
Yeah.
sad
Yeah,
song for
that is
sure.
that's like a very
that's a sad
gut-wrenching.
song. Oh man.
This is a little personal. I wouldn't say it's music, but like things like I can't watch medical dramas anymore. Like I
What?
can't. Like
Even
with
though
my
they're
significant
so
other-
nonsensical, they're just
no,
so
with
ridiculous.
my significant other, like I can't. I just
all
can't
right,
do it.
Understandable.
I thought-
I've
Like I
always
seriously,
had a
I'll
problem.
start like it's weird.
Sure,
like
sure.
stuff that I watch House all the time before, and then now like I turn it on, and it's sort of like
But isn't House science fiction?
a lot of it is, but the
Yeah.
moment somebody
Sure.
mentions like tumor, I'm
Right,
like,
right.
like,
No,
it just
I
yeah.
definitely understand that.
Wilson, I thought you were gonna say the opening music to when you turn on an Apple Macintosh computer. That
makes you cry.
It's like a child being born. That's what it feels like.
every time.
I
Gets me.
I get when you could feel like yourself getting teary-eyed. You like
In your
that? Do you
throat.
like
I
that?
love it. Oh, I live
You
for
do
those
love
moments.
that.
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac Landslide. That one does
Okay.
it to me. Right? Come on. Bonnie Raitt, I Can't Make You Love Me.
Really? Oh, these are like kind of old songs too.
Yeah, it hurts me.
I think
Tears in Heaven,
I guess that's why
rough,
they
too.
call it the blues.
Tears in Heaven, especially if you know the
Yeah, it's
context
about
of
his
the
kid, right?
Right.
Oof.
Elton John.
Elton
I guess that's why they call it the blues. That's a
Sure.
sad song.
Yeah, Celine Dion.
Are
the
there
Titanic
parts in
song.
movies that's stupid? Don't ever cry from something she did. Is there anything like a movie? I get weird emotion at weird times. Like if
Ooh,
I
I got a
see,
good one.
if this is stupid, but I'm just gonna be honest with people.
Mhm.
If I see like certain scenes from like sporting events too that like I have emotional attachments as a child to.
What?
Yeah, like the first
30,
time.
like the Miracle on.
Yeah, like stuff like
Miracle
that
on Ice?
gets me a little teary-eyed because
Okay.
like I wasn't alive, but I can appreciate the emotion.
Right. Okay.
You know, like the first time I saw Green Day, I remember I was like 12, and I was
Wow.
like, "Wow, I cannot believe I'm seeing these guys."
You cried at the show?
I was like teary-eyed for a
What a
second.
baby.
Yeah.
What a little baby.
I cried.
You were 12.
No, but if, you
were
know what?
12.
If I was at a show right now and I looked to my side and I saw a 12-year-old kid crying, I would
cry.
I would cry. Yeah, I would
for
cry
sure.
looking at him cry.
I'd be like, "Oh my God, is this your first time seeing
Yeah.
this band that I've known before you've since been
then I'll
alive?"
slap him right
Yeah,
across
just
the face.
elbow him right in the jaw.
You know what scene gets me every time? And I remember
What?
actually being in the theater as a kid and crying during this movie. Somewhere out there in the movie An American Tale. The Fievel.
yeah, that's
Oh.
sad.
Yeah, somewhere out there is when him and his sister are
It's sad.
separated. They're in different countries and they're looking out at the moon and singing to each other.
Sad.
By James Ingram and Linda Ronstadt. Ah.
Yeah, oh, that's
It's
sad.
tough, it's
no,
tough.
very sad.
Then there's that scene where they're on the soapbox,
Yeah.
right? They're like on drifting away on different.
Oh my
soapboxes.
God, it's terrible.
Oh, it's tough, man. Why would you
Or-
make
no,
it
no,
movie
The
like
Lion
that?
King.
Yes.
The Lion King when he goes up to his
Sad.
dad.
I guess,
sad.
but that is sad. But you cry at Wally, and that's unacceptable.
Why is that
Fievel,
acceptable?
Fievel is much sadder.
Wilson
Fievel
was-
is much sadder.
Yeah. No, Wilson was
or
crying for a
Up.
future though.
Or Up.
Up is bad.
Up is sad.
I'm talking about old movies
We
though,
are
like
just
Dumbo.
We are bumming literally
Oh, yeah, it's
everyone.
bad.
This is
Well,
not fair.
I actually want to
Baby
mention,
mine
if you
in
guys
Dumbo.
watch SNL this weekend,
I did actually.
did
I
you
thought it
catch
was
the
pretty
Verizon
good.
4G
Yeah.
I did.
LTE kind of
Yeah.
skit? That was
pretty good.
hilarious.
It was pretty good.
And it sort of puts in perspective the world that at least we go to every single day, like working
Right.
at CNET, talking about like the droid cyborg, just like for some reason seems normal.
Right.
But then you step out into reality, you're like, oh, that's the reason why people don't
See,
care.
I didn't think the commercial was that funny. I thought the slogan at the end was funny, where it said "confusing old people since 19 whatever." That was funny.
Right.
That was funny because that's definitely true. These poor people.
I'm glad that people are finally realizing this.
Finally,
The nomenclature
How
just
long
needs
have
to
we been
stop
saying
altogether.
that?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So confusing. How dare they attempt to
Well,
explain this to
one day
someone?
we're gonna be that guy.
See, I don't see. I know we're biased because we're young now and
Yeah.
we can't imagine a future where we don't understand technology. But don't forget, people who were in their 70s and 80s
Yeah.
grew up, without even television.
Yeah.
It's like they
I don't think it's that they don't understand what it means. It's that they just don't care.
they don't
They don't care enough
It's
to
not
find
their-
out what it is, and I don't blame them for it because I don't give a crap either.
Who would blame them?
Yeah.
Who could blame a 75-year-old for not knowing what
Yeah.
4G LTE is?
Right. They don't need to be downloading things
They're
on
just
their phone.
they're psyched they're alive.
I don't know
know?
about that.
Dude, their life expectancy's gone up. It's a big deal. There are
Yeah.
other fish to fry in their priority
Right.
list.
There's sales going on at local grocery stores that they need to concern
They're worried
themselves
about
with.
their children and their grandchildren. And,
People
and,
in
you
their
know,
yards.
people in their
There's
yard.
kids driving by their house that they need to yell at. Driving
when
too
I visit my
fast.
grandma, I'm
Kids
just-
playing those streets.
Hey, my grandma has a cell phone.
Yeah.
Or she did. I don't know if she uses it anymore. Like, even to me, the fact that she was using a cell phone at one point was just
Right.
blowing my mind.
Sure.
How dare we lay this responsibility
The
on
fact that she even
on
has the
her.
strength to push down on a
No,
tactile
that's not
button.
what I'm saying.
Oh, no, you don't understand?
That's
All right.
not what I'm saying.
Sorry, Grandma Bacalar.
But they all get golf, right? They all understand golf. That's a complicated game.
It's true.
Give them some little bit of credit. Oh boy. Let's get to some calls because we got to go. Short shows on Mondays. You guys know the situation. Let's handle some of these.
Time to show the love. 866-404-CNET.
404.
I need a good cry. It's been a while.
Yeah, don't cry
Let's
here.
do this after the show.
Hey, 404 guys. This is Chicago from Luca. Was having dinner with my girlfriend when she told me that she'd never seen The Fifth Element, much to my horror. Immediately after we went to dinner, I raced over to Best Buy and purchased it and made her watch it over at her house. To my horror again, she was underwhelmed.
No.
So thus begins my new search for a new girlfriend.
That's
You
pretty
know,
good.
I mean, I can't disagree with this guy.
He brings up a decent question, though. Do you think that Fifth Element holds up now to people that had never watched it in the 90s?
Good question. It's a good question. I'm biased. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah?
I mean, you watch stuff.
I mean-
it evokes that sort of nostalgia.
Yeah.
So like it's
Yeah.
hard to divorce. Like, oh, when I saw it back then, how awesome it was,
Right.
to how I'm feeling right now. So
Right.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the scenes where he's driving the cab,
Mhm.
some of those probably look a little suspect. by today's
Yeah.
standard.
The action
standards.
scenes are still really good.
But the
though.
action's really good. All the the fly-throughs, all
Mm-hmm.
the establishing shots of New York way in the future. I
Yeah.
think that looks good still.
Mila Jovovich, still hot.
Still hot.
That's never gonna change.
Still naked for a second too.
Hello.
All right, let's respect that and move
You
on.
got it down to the frame, don't you?
Oh, I know exactly the time code. I know all the coordinates. Oh man, look. It was a nice run. You're just gonna have to go your other separate ways with this woman. I'm sorry. If you can't appreciate
If she
the
cared about
development-
you, she would pretend to
yeah,
like it.
that's how you know.
That's
That,
why you
I don't
know.
got a problem her not having ever seen
Yep.
the movie. Got a problem with her seeing it and then not lying
Not
to you
lying.
that she enjoyed
when
it.
she saw how passionate you were.
Chicken, good.
Hey, 404, this is San Diego from Steven. I was actually just calling in regards to your Friday show when you had the Gutman on. And I actually wanted to comment on a throwaway comment that Justin seemed to make about what earbuds he used. He mentioned that he uses, I guess, the Ultimate Ears 18 earbuds. And I have a crappy $20 pair of earbuds, so I figured I'd check them out. And if they're the right ones that are listed on the Logitech website, it looks like they're $1,300. So I was kind of wondering how someone who lives in a shoebox apartment and survives solely on Domino's Pizza was able to afford $1,300 earbuds.
Well, that's why he is in a shoe.
Yeah, one. It's like a chicken and the egg kind of thing. It's true. So what we were talking about last week was in-ear monitors. These are custom earphones that you can get from an audiologist.
That's a
They take
clue,
a mold
too.
of your ear. They're $1,300, $1,350.
When the words monitor are in the
Right.
name of the device,
Right.
like that generally means that it's actually like
All right,
higher
so
quality.
but explain the situation. How do you have these, Justin?
Well, an Ultimate Ears bus broke down in front of the CNET office, splaying out earphones everywhere. No, I mean, I've been testing them out for a review on
Right.
CNET. We showed a picture of Steve's pair. I think he had one from a different company.
Yeah.
But they all cost this much money. These are usually reserved for musicians or the 1%. Like anyone that really, really, really cares about their music.
Oh, Jeff, you
I
said-
probably had 3 pairs,
I
baby's
threw
first
mine
Ultimate
away.
Ears.
I threw mine away. They got in my way once, and I just ripped them in half and threw them away.
a new pair every day. It's like contacts. for
Yeah,
you, right?
yeah.
Is that what it is?
Popping tags. These are really crazy sounding, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could have you guys hear them, but they're custom molded to my ears. They have 6 different drivers in each ear.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You can hear the artist's heart beating.
Yeah, which are the ones I have? The 10 eyes.
You have
10
the
VIs?
10 VIs. Yeah, those aren't cheap either. I think
Those are
are
350
yeah,
or 400.
All right, well,
But they're amazing.
What's the price you
they're amazing.
recommend for like most people out there, where like you can expect to spend
I mean, that's
and get a pretty
relative.
decent good sound?
Okay.
I mean, $1,800 is a lot of money.
You
for
could
any-
spend $150, under
$1.50.
$1.50, and get really good quality.
All right,
Anywhere
there
between
you
100
have
and
it, straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
That horse's mouth over
This
there.
beautiful horse.
Next call.
Hey, it's Brooklyn from Jimmy, and I'm calling about Friday's show with Steve on. And you guys talked about bands with some longevity. And, you guys were saying how hard it was to think of somebody. I can't believe that you guys didn't think of you too. And I got to imagine that, whether you love them or hate them, you got to admit that, they've been around a very long time. They put out some innovative stuff over the years, movies, different types of, they've reinvented themselves. I don't know, just throwing that out there. Love the show.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
didn't forget.
Yeah, we did not forget you too.
Just punctuated with that.
Okay, I will be the first to admit Joshua Tree is a good record.
No, it's not.
It is a good record. But I hate you too.
Yeah,
Oh my God, do I dislike them
some white shit.
so much. It's not, you can't just say it.
Sorry.
You can't just
didn't
say
hear
that.
that.
That's almost.
You didn't hear that.
First
You didn't
off,
hear
they're
that.
not. But they're not.
Don't rewind that. Don't rewind that.
It's not fair to say
Is
that.
it not though, Wilson?
Oh,
Is
what
it
do you-
not?
Don't you not? He's no longer.
I wanna run. Like it's. Come on.
I don't. Dude, it's not my cup of tea, man.
I'm not a big.
I think
Bono fan.
Nickelback is more white stuff than U2 is.
Yeah, and just because they're making soundtracks to musicals now doesn't mean that they're still making good music,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Like we're
well-
talking about artists that have continually made albums
Right.
that build upon each other, grow, evolve, and
I
they're all
just-
good.
I think most people our age, or I guess us, we could collectively say like we are constantly surprised that they continue to be
Right.
multi-platinum.
I'm
artists.
very surprised that they find as much success as they currently do. I think
Right.
they just. It's
I mean,
just
I'll
like
admit they've got one or
I-
two songs that are good.
it's like Tyler
Yeah.
Perry. He's
Yeah.
gonna continue coming out with stuff. and it
Somebody's
don't matter.
watching it.
It's gonna
Someone's
make $4
listening.
billion at the box office.
Right. I don't know
It could be
who's going
trash.
to these and buying the albums, but
I mean, I know they're important to a lot of people. They are. I don't see that. I never really. I think that, like I said, Joshua Tree, good record. Also 20 years old, that record.
Yes.
Or probably more.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Would
I
not
don't
put
get it.
you two up with Michael Jackson, though, in terms of career
No,
history.
no
way.
way.
Yeah,
Nowhere
definitely
near
not.
each other. The one dude calls himself The Edge. Not sure how I feel about that either.
Yeah.
Bono, look,
You know who
he's charitable, I guess.
Yeah.
Nothing
He
against-
makes me believe he's charitable.
Yeah.
Right?
You know who's made consistently good music, and you guys might not agree with this? Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey
Okay.
still makes
I'm not
good
going to take
music.
anything away from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did it in the 80s. She did it in the 90s. Whatever the next decade was called. Whatever this
aughts.
decade's called. It's still good. Seriously, good.
All
The
right.
decade we want to forget.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Talk about some tearjerkers. Mariah Carey had a few.
She did.
One Sweet Day.
Oh, whew.
Boys to
Make
Men.
me cry.
Uh.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us today. Short Show Monday comes to an end, but we'll be back tomorrow. So don't worry. Call us up, 866-404-CNET, or you can email us at the 404@cnet.com. Check out the blog every day. Comment away. That's where we really, get all of our great feedback.
Yeah.
And that's the 404.cnet.com.
Tell us what songs make you cry. I want to know.
Yeah, I want to know what makes you cry. I want to know what pulls at those heartstrings.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm Jeff Bacalar.
I'm Wilson Tang.
And I'm Justin Yu.
It's the 404 High Tech Lowbrow. Have a great Monday. See you tomorrow.